Countdown.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the YouTube Lead Gen Show, hosted by Christina Smallhorn and myself, Malcolm Lawson. Christina and I have generated millions of views, hundreds of thousands of subscribers, most importantly, hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of commissions from leads we generated from our real estate YouTube channels. And on this show, we mastermind about using YouTube in our real estate businesses. And today we got a special show, Mr. Jeremy Knight, who just passed 10,000 subscribers on his real estate YouTube channel. So we're going to be picking his brain and masterminding about YouTube today. Jeremy, how you doing today?
Picking his brain is better than picking his nose.
Yeah,
that's right.
No nose
yeah,
picking.
Don't pick my nose, please. Hey everybody, how's it going?
Hey everybody, it's going good. It's going good. Christina, how you doing today?
I'm so good I can't stand myself.
That's pretty good. I like it. I like it. But yeah, so Jeremy, man, you just hit 10,000 subscribers. I would say, like, all honesty, for people who have just local channels going after that local audience, there's probably only half a dozen that have passed 10,000 subscribers on their YouTube channel. So 10,000 for a Austin specific channel is really pretty good.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With those 10,000 subscribers, how much did that earn you in commissions in real estate?
Millions.
A lot.
What's the volume? What's the volume?
So between, so I'm a husband-wife team. Between my wife and I, and then we'd have people in our downline. So I kind of a unique team where I just have agents that are in my downline. That way they're not specifically on my team. So we do a referral with. And so they together will do probably around 15 million total this year, or 20 million total this year. And my wife and I will hit 50 million. That's a combination between YouTube and that's total business. So I'll give you an example. Our best year ever was 2 years ago before I started implementing. Well, last year, I mean, our second best year was my first year using YouTube. The year before that, our highest was like 14 million total that we did. So from 14 to 50, if that helps.
Yeah, it's pretty wild, man. That's baller numbers right there, right? I love how humble you are about it too, man. There's people in my market that do that types of volumes, and they were walking around fucking suits and tuxedos, and like the shit don't stink.
Yeah, and they're so gross, and you're not gross. And I
took a shower right before this.
I'm so happy. I'm so happy. Yeah, YouTube is a great thing. And when we started, I was kind of just starting to, gain some traction on YouTube. And when you were doing YouTube stuff, a lot of people gave you some guff going, why are you wasting your time on YouTube? You should be doing Facebook videos. They were like pressuring you, saying that, you were doing the wrong thing. So what do you have to say about that?
I'll say this. Everybody has their own way of doing video content, and they have to do what's best for how they're going to get business, whether it's Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Well, you can do video on Twitter. I was thinking the other T one. What's the other T one? TikTok? I don't use
TikTok.
That works. Or YouTube, right? So my way was not the same way as other people. So I can, turn around and be like, oh, look at me. I did so good on YouTube. At the same time, those people did well, the avenue they chose. So I'll just say that whatever avenue you're going to use as your video medium, just understand it, learn it, and do what that medium rewards you the most with. And so I leaned into video on YouTube, which wasn't what most people were doing on Facebook. They're doing more listing videos, silly realtor videos, and that same style video you can now do on TikTok in 15 seconds. So I was doing those same a 4-minute video that could be done in 15 seconds on TikTok now. But I was doing it for 4 minutes, which didn't make sense for what my audience actually wanted. So yeah, I mean, it's easy to look back and laugh, but I think it's those people giving me crap that actually fueled me to even be better. So I kind of have to thank them for that.
Good. I like it, man. And what percentage of those leads are coming from your YouTube channel? So almost $70 million in volume. What's percentage you
Like
think?
it's like 80%.
80%. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fucking
Told
wow.
ya.
I
Told
love
you,
it.
you peeps. What you
Yeah.
told me when YouTube was a waste of time.
I
Well,
want to share something real quick here.
Go ahead. Oh,
All right. So this is right. We're on Social Blade, looking at your channel here, and total subscribers. Right, you're now at 10,000 subscribers.
yeah.
So October of 2020. So actually, let's go to the beginning of the year. So December 1st. Is that right? Yeah, December 1st, 2020. 3,000 subscribers.
Yeah.
So is my math right? Okay. So anyway, in what, a year and a half, 2 years? God, I'm really bad at math. How long ago was we're
Yeah.
in?
So November. So 2000 in November of last
Okay,
year.
so that's
Same
2 years
time frame.
ago.
Yeah.
2 years ago. So from 2,000 to 10,000 subscribers in about 2 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's huge. That's great growth,
Well,
man.
and so
For a hyper local channel.
Yeah.
Let
Yes,
me
yeah.
let me explain, because like, you know, people say, well, you did it more than, like, mine's not hyper local. His is
Yeah.
specific to his area. So that is excellent for a hyper local channel.
Yeah, and you know, the people I look at that have better, or like more channel, more numbers. As far as like, you know, you can look at like Jason Walter or Jeb Smith. They do more just real estate national, right? And those guys have, you know, 40,000 subscribers. Christina's channel is crazy out of control, but she almost has like a niche market of what she talks about, but she's very wide net on a lot of things. So that's why her channel grows the way it does. Same thing with Malcolm's. So being so niche specific, it is hard to get those same numbers. But on the flip side, what I've been able to do on the back end of my business has been insane. So, and it's just, you know, I think that the biggest thing I can say, anybody that's trying to like figure out this YouTube thing, is stop selling. I think that's the biggest thing that I learned real quick is stop selling. Because look, here's the deal. If people are going to watch my channel and I'm constantly selling, they're going to turn me off because they're going to see me as a salesperson. On the flip side of that, if I'm constantly just giving information, being the digital mayor, I guess, if you will, of my area, and giving people just information, because they're moving and they want, most of them are either moving or getting ready to sell, and they want information on what the market's like, what to expect. And if you're giving them that and just taking an honest take, I think you'll get a lot more respect out of people. Now you're going to have a lot of people be assholes. I mean, that's the problem. Like my people in Texas and Austin hate that people are moving here. And so they were just say the worst things possible on my channel. But at the same time, is if I was constantly selling, I don't think I'd have even close to I'd probably maybe have 500 subscribers.
I'm going to tell you something that happened because I wanted to test it. So, you know, there are coaching groups that will tell you that you have to do like X amount of calls to action within a video to get traction on your video for the lead funnel that you're trying to use. So always when I've done my live streams, it ends up being natural conversation where I usually just say, oh, you want a referral? Go ahead and visit my website. And then I get lots of referrals because I said that just to that one person. Well, last week I did a test and I made it like I mentioned it in the beginning. I mentioned it in the middle. I mentioned it at the end. I mean, I mentioned it like probably 4 or 5 times. I only got 2 referrals because I was selling it. I was selling it. So when people smell selling something, they will run like the hill. They'll just run for the hills. So now I don't sell it. I'm going back to the way it was, because I would much prefer on a Sunday afternoon after my live stream is done to get 10 to 30 referrals than the 2 I got this week. And I was like, damn, that sucks. I hate it. I'll never do that again.
So one thing I'll say to anybody that's creating content, the one thing you want to do too is get people to watch. I mean, if you're going to put out a 10-minute video and people are watching 2 minutes of it, part of it's because you're probably selling at the very beginning. So take that crap out. But if you're having a conversation, even on a video that you're filmed, if you're having a conversation with your audience, you will get a hell of a lot better retention on a lot more comments, which means that video is going to be in front of more people and more likes, more comments. If you just have so I'll give you an example. I talked about the places to avoid, and people hated this video. It's my video from this week. And I basically just read an article, and it's the truth of crime and everything. And I didn't say anything about the crime. I just said, hey, look, here's what this article's saying, because I'm a realtor and I can't tell you what the crime is, but I can tell you what this article says. So I read that. People hated it. They hated it. They called it racist, all this stuff. The reality is, throughout the video, I go, I don't think that's that bad of an area. What do you think? And people were commenting on the areas, and they're commenting the entire time. I'm like, it's close to downtown. Prices are this. What do you think? And I didn't give my opinion on the neighborhood. I just asked every time, like, it's only 10 minutes to downtown. Does that seem bad to you? And so I had more people like defending me than people arguing, saying I was being whatever, because they're like, well, Jeremy didn't really say that. He was asking people. And so that's the thing, is if you're having a conversation with people and keeping them engaged, that will do better for your channel versus, oh, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you drop a comment below. Make sure you call me if you're going to be buying or selling or investing in Austin. Like, that'll do much better, because you're keeping people engaged, and they know that you're trying to come from a place of honesty. And that's the problem. With all these agents selling, people think that you're going to be one of those sales agents, and people come to my channel, oh, you're just a shitty sales agent that's trying to sell homes. I'm like, I don't know. Go check the record. See what I've said. Watch my videos. Because people don't, if they just come on and they see a video because there's a guy out there claiming the market's going to crash, and you say something to the opposite of that, they're going to say, well, give me your data. Give me your data. Well, that person's pulling shitty data to begin with. So the person's using very bad data to make a point, and then saying, well, you're not giving me data. Okay, well, here's all the data I've given you. If you don't like the data, that's you. That's a you problem, not a me problem.
It's like using the National Enquirer as news fact.
Yeah.
I know who you're talking about. That guy has some serious bad data.
Well, he just put out a video telling everybody to sell. So here's the thing. If I'm going to put out a video to tell everybody to buy, I'm an asshole, right? I'm the sales guy. It's the time to buy. But this guy can go tell everybody it's the time to sell, and he's not an asshole? Okay. Like you know what I'm saying?
I think he erases his bad comments, honestly.
He did. He blocked me on his channel because I left a comment, and I was like, why is nobody responding to this? No one. And before, people would be like, yeah, he's got a point. And then I'd get ripped by all of his sycophants.
Do you spend a lot of your time watching other videos like that?
No. It'll come up every now and then in the feed. And anytime he talks about Austin is when I'll just see what he's saying about Austin, see if he's giving me a fair shake. But other than that, I don't watch it. There's no point. Because I already know.
The channel is the house. Like, his whole channel is literally the sky is falling. The world is crashing. We're all going to die in a pit of hell because the real estate market is about to tank worse than the Great Depression.
What's the best way to sell stuff to people is to believe that you're not, to show them that you're not selling something, but he also sells programs on the back end. So I don't sell anything. Realtors sell stuff. But, oh, by the way, if you want more data, go ahead and subscribe to my thing. And I have a subscription service.
I do like the model of asking people their opinions of those areas in the comments, because I think a lot of buyers, they will go and look in those, what are the locals' opinions about those comments as well. So I think it's another valuable resource there, is getting everybody else's opinions on that.
One of the tools that I've learned in one of the courses I took about YouTube, they say ask a question like right in the middle of the video, and then ask a question right when you're wrapping it up, instead of like a lot of people use, well, that was it, those are the top 10 things, like they'll end up cutting off the video. Instead of doing that, you'll say, of those 10 things, which one was your favorite? Let me know in the comment section. And then that's a better way to wrap it up. And watch this next video here. Instead of like, people will use something called closing language, and they end up screwing themselves because they have another 20 seconds of their video that they ended up cutting off because they're like, yep, that was all of them. That's it. That's all I got to say. And then they talk for another 20 seconds.
So I recommend this. Look at your analytics and see where people are starting to drop off, and wherever that is in your video, your next video, if it's 3 minutes in, like you start seeing it drop, ask a question 3 minutes in.
That's good.
And then if it's 6 minutes in, so if you're seeing a drop off at 3 and 6 minutes, that's the time where you need to start asking questions and start getting feedback, because now people are going to be engaged. They're going to be listening to you kind of, and then writing a comment. And then by the time they get to the next question, now they're writing another comment. I'll see people write 4 or 5 comments. So
I used to not recommend that people ask questions in their videos. And the reason why I didn't used to do that, because the YouTube app, you used to have to scroll down through all these suggested videos before you got to the comment section. But in like the last 6 months, they've updated it. So now the comment section is right below your video. So they don't have to like stop watching your video to leave a comment. So I think because of that innovation on the app, I think actually asking for engagement, asking for comments like that is definitely a good strategy.
I have a question for both you and Malcolm. What do you think about YouTube getting rid of the dislike numbers?
Ooh,
what
I
is
got a
your
strong
opinion,
on that.
Jeremy?
I don't think they should get here's my opinion. I do not think they should get rid of the dislike button. What they should do instead is show you who is liking and disliking.
Oh,
because if they showed, like Facebook, if you click on Facebook, you can see who gave you a heart, who gave you a smiley face, a thumbs down, angry face. If they did that on YouTube, the people that gave those angry thumbs downs would stop doing it, because then it'd show up. You can hover over it to see who's giving you a thumbs down. Because it could just be somebody who's cranky, right? And then here's the deal: if you have 100 people that have liked your video, you can go through and just like, hey, thank you to blah 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 blah, and do a whole post thanking everybody that's liked the video. Right.
So
and that's
much
a whole
time
comment.
wasted.
It's
so much
wasted,
time
sure.
wasted.
But at least I can see who's being an asshole. Right. Because some people, it could just be other realtors in my market that are mad that I'm creating content that they're not, or other YouTubers that are in the space. And so if it is, I could be like, hey, by the way, I love that you keep watching my channel. By the way, have you heard about my brokerage? I'd love to bring you over. Right? It's a totally different conversation.
What do you think, Malcolm?
I think it's kind of a silly move, honestly. Like in their minds, maybe they're thinking that some corporations and some people are too scared to put up a video because of all the negative likes. But I think we all kind of know that the like button's kind of irrelevant. Like there's some good videos out there, but it's on a negative topic and people will dislike it because they agree with you because you're talking about a negative topic. And so you're kind of taking that away from them. And now the like and dislike videos buttons are kind of irrelevant altogether. I think they're kind of messing with the current culture on YouTube, and like they should just leave it how it is. We saw how this, it's very similar to like Robinhood, right? The Robinhood app, that they kind of betrayed their base, their user base, and people didn't really appreciate that. So I think it's kind of in line with that. I think it's going to be seen as like a misstep, in my opinion.
I think in the grand scheme of things, in about 6 months, no one will even care and think about it. Like, honest to God, because every time there's anything that's a change on YouTube, people always go, oh my God, it's such a big deal, and they make a big stink about it. And then they forget about it 6 months later, the dislike button, even the like button, I haven't paid attention to that in 2 years. I like when I first started, I had the chronic disliker. I mean, literally the second I put out a video was the second they hit the thumbs down button. I'm like, it's been out for less than a minute. How you didn't even watch the video, But I mean, like that was kind of one of those things that ended up being funny to me. I'm like, who is this person, that has this utter hate that can't wait to put the thumbs down button? But if you look at like a very successful app like TikTok, they don't have a dislike button, but they do have. But what happens is that people see, oh, you have like 38 likes, but you have 137 comments. Well, then you're ratioed out. Everybody knows, oh, this guy's going to say something really stupid. So then it actually causes more interaction because they can't voice their opinion with the thumbs down button. They're forced to make a comment to let them know how incredibly pissed they are. So they want that more engagement. So I'm sure YouTube looked at that model and said, this causes more engagement. Why don't we get rid of it? So it forces them to say what they don't like about the video in the comment section.
So that's interesting.
What I think.
That kind of ties into what Jeremy was saying, that they should be having their name next to it if they're disliking it. Well, now they have to leave a comment. And to your point, I'm willing to bet YouTube has already tested this feature out with hundreds and thousands of videos, and they've probably measured the engagement. So maybe they have measured it and seen like it increases audience retention. Maybe it increases engagement in terms of comments.
Well, the other thing too is that people that live stream a lot, they have these things where people have figured out how to like almost like raid the live streams. So they'll get like, hey, such and such is on the live stream. Let's all go in there and just thumbs down it. And they're like, yeah, I'll do that with all 6 accounts. So the guy has like, 13 likes, and then he'll have like 47 dislikes because all these people go through, and it's not really good for a young kid's mental health.
Right.
Like here he is just trying to play his video game, and there's some bullies at school that just want to be an ass. So those kinds of things too, they were putting that in consideration as well. So it's just something to think about. I don't think it's a big deal. Honest to God, I don't want to know who liked it. I don't want to know who disliked it. I would much rather comments more than anything else in the whole entire world, because that forces them to stay on the video and make their lengthy marathon long paragraph where I'm never going to read comment. But thank you, Jim, for all your knowledge, about real estate. In that lengthy comment that you had ended up watching my video twice. Like, thanks.
All right. So we had a question here from Stuart Noodle. So Jeremy, does Jeremy have a niche within his market? And this is a good question, because there's people who teach that you have to really focus on a specific niche within your market. What are your thoughts on that, Jeremy?
If you want to have just one specific type of business, sure, that's good, right? If you want to be just luxury and market yourself as just luxury, it's fantastic. In Austin, the price point's definitely increased, but I went from doing primarily $300,000 to $500,000 properties to now we close at least $1 million property a month, $1 million plus a property a month. And I did that by just talking about, I would pepper in luxury, and I pepper in luxury every now and then. I'll do a video like, what are the most expensive homes going for in Austin right now? And I'll talk about them. So I would say if you niche down too hard and you there's an agent that I met with who's in Austin, and all he talks about is North Austin. If all I wanted to do is talk about South Austin, that'd be great, but my channel would not grow. So I talk about North Austin. I brought on people that can work in North Austin. So when people come in and they're like, oh, I want to be in North Austin, I'm like, oh, great. Have you met Janie or Ian? They're fantastic. Have you met Diana? I have Beck on my team. So that way I'm still getting the business, but I'm not having to actually work it personally.
One of the biggest mistakes I made for my channel was that I specifically just talked about my county. I live in the rural area of the United States. Like, nobody's like, I've been thinking about moving to Ascension Parish. Like, that was the dumbest thing in the whole entire world. But I don't know how many people at that time were like, that's so smart. That's so smart. Because when they Google it, they'll see your name. And yes, that's true. But it was actually, it would have been smarter for me at the time when I started, was to talk about Baton Rouge and all the other surrounding areas around Baton Rouge, which I did not do. I was like, I'm hyper focused on my area. So dumb, so dumb. But that's smart, Jeremy. That's a really smart plan.
I think it's a bit of a gray area with this niching down, because it's absolutely a mistake to niche down too much.
Too far.
I was talking to somebody, and she's told me her niche is seniors who want to sell their home and move out of the state. And I was like, that's such a very specific thing. I'm not really sure how you would target that. And I'm sure that there's a lot of overlap between seniors who want to sell their homes and any family that want to sell their homes and move out of the state, or any military families that want to sell their home out of the state. So I think if you niche down too much, you're just leaving money on the table. Like, there's a lot of overlap between these different audiences. Yeah. And it's okay to cast a little bit of a wider net and get a little bit more fish in there.
Well, she could still talk to seniors and talk about retirement. She could talk about different ways people retire, and then still talk about moving out of the state. She could definitely do that. That would be actually not a bad idea at all. But if you just specifically talk about that one thing, you're kind of like what I did with the little tiny my little county that no one's really searching for. But if she widened that audience and talked about retirement, moving, the expenses of moving, and all that stuff when you're retiring, then her channel has the opportunity to get much bigger.
Yeah, and that's, so I was doing videos. So you always talk about having buckets. So I had Texas as a bucket, and so on my live streams for a while, I'd bring on other Texas agents,
right,
in Dallas, Houston, whatever. I get people asking me like the most podunk, couldn't even find on a map places. Hey, do you know if there's somebody that can help me in this area? I'm like, let me Google that. I have no idea where that's at. So I wouldn't niche down too much, but to your point, if one of your buckets is senior living, and then the next bucket is about your county or your area, and the next bucket is about the state, now you've widened that net, and you can get referrals in all of those places. I mean, look at Christina. Christina's getting 30 referrals on a live stream. Like, I'm sorry, if 10 of those close, that's a good probably $25,000 from a live stream, right? That's not terrible at all, right? So, like that making 25 grand a month off of referrals or working your ass off all month to make 35. I mean, that's why people are staying home right now, right? Not going back to work. 15 bucks an hour, go to work for 20. I'll work at home for 20 or for 15. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think there's nothing wrong with going a little bit wider. And yeah, what's wrong with having referrals or having a referral partner in another area? You know, maybe not
referrals all day. I'll send them and I'll give them back all day, man. I mean,
yeah,
and that's so, what I do.
I know exactly. I mean,
I haven't showed a house in 6 months.
I mean, honestly, it's smart. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I wouldn't niche down too much because, like, look, here's the deal. Like, maybe I don't want to do luxury in Lago Vista, and I talk about $4 million house in Lago Vista, or what $1 million will buy you in Lago Vista. I don't want to work Lago Vista. It's an hour and a half from my house almost because of stupid traffic. Well, guess what? I got an agent that will, and I'm sorry, I'm going to get a good paycheck out of it for just talking about it. So it makes sense.
Yeah. And what I tell people is if you want to have a niche like that, make it a bucket. Like you said, just make a bucket for senior living. You can have another bucket for military, another bucket for families relocating to the area. But there's just a lot of overlap between all those audiences. They're all kind of interested in the same thing. So somebody says that I talk about the entire state, so I'm not handcuffed on an area. People are curious about the entire state in my case.
Before I made the big switch in content, one of the biggest videos I did was 10 things you didn't know about Louisiana. And you know what the weirdest part is? All the comments, the majority of the comments are people like, I live in Louisiana. And why am I watching this video? Because I already know all this stuff. You know, they're like, those are the top comments. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with doing a top 10 of your state. And it doesn't have to be real estate related. Just talk about your state because there's people that are going to want to know about it. So that you can make a bucket, 10 things you didn't know about your state, 10 weird facts about your state, 10, like, do that once a month and see what happens. Because you're going to, even though it's not real estate related, it's still related to your state. And it shows that you are interested and know stuff about it. And then they'll want to watch other things, other content about your channel. So just FYI.
Yeah. So do you do much content like that, Jeremy? Best restaurants, best parks, best things to do?
No.
No
time for that.
Yeah.
Just doing the research on that is mind numbing, right? I mean, it's not even like remotely related. Look, it's fun stuff, right? Like, it's fun to go like eat at a restaurant and talk about a restaurant. It's fun. It's easy to do, but going through and coming up with a top 10 list and then of places to go eat. I mean, it doesn't fit for my channel. If it fits for your channel and people like it and they love it, then yeah, do those videos. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm fat enough as it is to show how fat I am by going to all these restaurants. I think I'll pass.
There's a way to do it though. You could like, I always say top 10s are too much, but you can do a top 5, right? And then you say this restaurant is by this neighborhood that's houses are priced at this, and it's really close to shopping. That is a good top 5 for your specific thing. If you're new and you're starting out and you don't know what to do for as far as content, like that's an easy way to get information, show a neighborhood and get it done, Can
I share a screen here? I can. Do you actually bring up a good point? So there's this realtor he's in my market who is at 6,000 subs, and he's barely been in Austin for like maybe a year and a half, 2 years. Mm-hmm. The guy stole his idea from another agent who was doing this in Austin before me, who was just like walking around and filming new build, like with a GoPro or whatever. Mm-hmm. All he does is talk about, I don't know that he actually, I'm curious what his business is. I'm going to actually reach out to him and see if I can meet with him. But he just goes around and films multi-million-dollar homes. Doesn't talk about anything else. Maybe every now and then he'll talk about the market, but all he does is film these. So I don't know. I'm curious if he pays for views because he got videos that have like 180,000 views on a topic I would not even think would have 180,000 views. So
does it have comments underneath it?
It's got comments, but I mean, it's like 100 comments for 180,000 views. My one video that's like 200,000 views has like 4,000 comments.
Right.
So,
So either A, he paid for an ad, or B, it hit the traffic source where it says external source, which means it made it to the Google top page, right?
could
So
be.
a lot of people, like I've had this happen where all of a sudden I'm steamrolling through views. I'm like, holy cow, my audience retention goes down like hit the, and so they're testing it out on the Google top page. So sometimes that will happen and you won't get any comments. Just FYI.
Yeah, I'm kind of leaning towards that as well. That's most likely. And I hate assuming that about people because, sometimes it could be organic, but yeah, something like that. If it's a crappy video tour of a property, I mean, my assumption would be they're running ads. I wish there's a way to tell. I really hate that Google or YouTube allows those ads to be counted towards the view count of it. It's very misleading. It's really hard for us to kind of do our own research about what does well on YouTube because of that.
I haven't done Facebook in a long time. Are people still paying for ads for their videos on Facebook? Is that still a thing?
Probably. There's probably real estate agents still doing that, I'm sure, man. It's a boost to their ego, right? They get a little dopamine kick when they see those views going up, whether it's costing them money or not. I think you paying for views is like the only way to get views on a page on Facebook these days.
I just put stuff on there. But no, I actually, do you know what though, Malcolm? I think you're wrong. I'm going to tell you why. I made a playlist that said affordable housing options. And every time I made a video about manufactured homes, tiny homes and stuff like that, and I put it in that playlist, all my other videos on YouTube, on Facebook started going up. But if I just did like a live stream on my page, it did not. So I think it's almost like similar to the buckets that you do here on YouTube. It would be the same for Facebook. You feed the one that gets other people to watch, and Facebook will recommend it more.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I get my overall point with this channel, and I have it right here if you want to add it to the screen. My overall point with this channel is he's not doing anything spectacular, right? He's not, he's new to the market. He's not, he's new to the market. He's not talking about actual neighborhoods as far as like he knows everything, but he's walking through and looking at homes in specific neighborhoods. He's got decent thumbnails, a little too much verbiage for me on them, but I mean,
yeah,
there's nothing special about them.
There's nothing special. And this is how the other channel was. His name was, it was just like Living in Austin. It was the name of the channel, but it was Ray Shapley. Great guy. Love Ray Shapley. But this is, I mean, he basically did what Ray Shapley did and just kind of piggybacked on that. Now, so I'm telling people, like, if you want to, if you don't know what to do for content, I mean, I would watch this dude's channel, Suman Kim. I would watch what he's doing on these videos, 13, 16, 20-minute videos. Like, this isn't hard to do. I filmed one of these yesterday on just because I have a bunch of closings in a neighborhood. I literally have 3 closing on the same street. So I walked through all 3 homes to show which builder has the best single-story floor plans. So I might go to the builder afterwards and be like, hey, pay for some ads on this guy. Huh? But I'm kidding. I won't do that. But I mean, this is for not knowing a market, not being like really, knowledgeable about your market. This is the perfect way to do it. And my leasing agent, basically, she's going to start doing all of this stuff right here. Is just walk through different buildings and talk about leasing, buildings that she wants to work in. I'm sure he's getting business from this.
Hit the one that's 51,000 views. It's like, I think on the second row on the right hand. Yeah, there we go. Hit that one really quick. Because the titles are crap. Go ahead and hit pause. And then scroll down to the
yeah, that's a terrible title. What?
77 for 50,000 views, only 72 comments. It's not a lot. But at the same,
something's
Austin,
amiss. Something's
because I've never even heard
wrong.
of it's Leander. So Leander's a popular area right now. It's one of the best areas. So it could be that it's in Leander, but I've never even heard of this neighborhood.
Have you ever tried searching for those cities? Like if it's a good video, it probably would rank in search as well. But yeah, I mean, the truth is,
just
like,
walking around the camera. That's it.
this model may work, even if he is running ads. If he's getting business from it,
Yeah, who cares, right?
go for it, man. That's the at
Yeah.
the end of the day what we're all after. It's just it's hard for us to do that recon and research and looking at his channel as an example if he is running ads behind it. But if he's getting closings from it, go for it. And he probably is if he's doing that many, and he looks very consistent. Like, that is a lot of content right there.
Good on him.
And I'm not dogging his channel by any means, but I question a couple of the views on some of these. But other than that, like, I want to give this guy props, because this is something that I used to do until I got lazy and sat in front of a green screen. And I wouldn't even say I got lazy. I just got too busy to actually run out and go film this stuff. Like, it's not easy to film this when you're working, doing 70 million in production. But if you're looking for content to do, I mean, try this out. It might work. And then you might ask the builder, hey, give me $300 to run ads behind this. I mean, what's the builder going to do? Sure. You're going to film a video and then get me 14,000 views on that video. Sure. Okay.
You can ask the builder for there's other ways you can get paid by builders too. So you can ask if you want to do a builder's tour, you can ask them, if you do like a fully edited video, they can pay you for that. But you can also ask for if they come in or they use some kind of link to get there, you can use a pixel to show how much traffic is going to their website, and you can get a percentage of that from a builder as well.
All right, so we got a question here. So someone chatty like me shouldn't have an issue with doing a 16-minute long video, right? What are you guys' thoughts? Yeah, I say go for it. 16 minutes. I do 20-minute long videos all the time.
I do 16, 14, 12. I find that the sweet spot is between, for me, is about 10 to 14 minutes. That's my, I feel like that's the threshold that I can push. But if I'm like really lazy, you can tell because the video is like literally 8 minutes and 12 seconds. That means that I couldn't squeeze out enough information to get much more than that.
Well, I try to keep mine at between like 8 and 9 minutes. That's my sweet spot, because I create my videos for the ADHD in mind. I'm trying to get as much information out as possible without dragging in. Like, I'll film for 20 minutes and cut it down to 8 minutes. There's just a lot of stuff I talked about, and it's not all the ums and uhs and right. Like, I like to cut that out, but I'll cut it down to 8 minutes, and it's whatever the most impactful information I can give in that 8.5 to 9 minutes. That's what I try to throw in there. And there's sometimes it's like, oh shit, I created a 7-minute video. Should I go back and add stuff? Nah, it's 7.5 minutes. Forget it. Let's put it out. So.
Yeah, I think I shoot for 10 minutes. That's my goal. I don't always hit that, and that's fine, but that's what I really love. And on my outdoor channel, I have some like 30-minute long videos that are crushing it. So I'd say don't be afraid to make longer form content as long as you're still adding a lot of value. Now, on my real estate side, I have some like neighborhood tour videos that are like 3-4 minute long videos, which is really short on YouTube. But there is like zero competition for those videos because it's such a specific thing. It's just one neighborhood. And so if you're going after search traffic like that, those types of videos, if there's zero competition, you can get away with like a shorter 3-minute, 5-minute long video. But if you have a lot of competition, generally you want to go for the longer, the better. It's kind of my rule of thumb on that. One thing I want to talk about is leverage. So I'm in process. I'm finally trying to hire a video editor. I've been on YouTube for 7 years. I'm trying to find a video editor right now. And holy cow, that is a pain in the ass process right there. I've gone through so many bad editors. And I'm still trying to figure out how much money I need to throw at somebody just to give me a good dang video.
Expensive.
Yeah, they're not cheap. Not cheap.
So, to get a good one where you're not sitting there babysitting every single thing, you're gonna have to pay. It's like I've gone this whole route for years now, trying to find a good editor, and I mean, like people were like, "Oh, hire them on." At the beginning, it was like, "Oh, I got mine off of Fiverr," and I'm like, "Yeah," and you can tell your video is on Fiverr, just FYI, But they think it's good because they never edited anything before. Yeah. And then I tried some people that I knew in the YouTube community. They were like, "Oh, I have an editing team. I started a company and we have this editing team."
Smart.
Oh, Nightmare, just as bad. All they do is hire people from Fiverr and then they have them underneath them to give them leads. So they're just as bad. They're just as freaking bad. Then I tried Video Husky and it's okay. So it's kind of like you send all your clips to them, they edit it out, all the ohs and ums and everything, and then you kind of take that back and then you edit it out, like that. That's like, if you're just kind of want to get it done quickly, real fast, you send it to Video Husky and then you add your extra, like, the little spice to it, and that, I mean, that's when I'm in a rush. But if I really want to like have a good video that I know is going to do really well, I'm paying like $500. I'm gonna pay top dollar.
I would say for me, I have no idea what it costs me. I just know that the ROI on it is huge. I wouldn't say. So here's the thing: is everybody goes, well, what video is going to get me business? All of them. It's not just one specific, like, and I think that's the biggest mistake agents make is they put out 10 videos and by the 10th video, they're like, oh, this has been so much work. It's so exhausting. And now I'm at the point I need to hire somebody to do it because it's so exhausting if I'm going to keep doing videos, but I'm not getting any business out of it. So fuck it, I quit. That is where I think my channel just went to the next level, is that I said, you know what? I'm not getting any business out of it yet. Knowing that most lead sources that you pay for take 6 months, or if you're going to be, I mean, if you're going to pound the phone for 4 hours a day, calling people, doing for sale by owners expired, it's going to take you 3 months to really start getting where you're good at it. So think about that of your video. It's going to take you 3 months. So what is that? 12 videos to actually start getting good at it. And by that time, people start finding your channel. So what's going to happen is you either start getting too busy because people are constantly calling you, or B, you're burnt out. So look at what you're willing to spend and go from there. So my editor, I pay him. He's a college kid, $20 an edit hour. So it usually takes him. So basically what I do is I shoot my video, usually in front of a green screen, now in front of this. Probably gonna go back to the green screen because I'm not liking this, and then so I do my 20 minutes and I cut it all down and I shoot it to him. I go, okay, add the B-roll. And he adds in all the B-roll, all the fancy stuff, and makes it look way better than I could ever make it. So it takes him 6 to 8 hours maybe to edit it. And it took me 45 minutes to edit it down because I know what I want. And so that's what I would say to most people. If you can, depending on what type of content you're doing, right? If you're doing a video tour, it's a pain in the ass to get all those edits down. But if you're just going to shoot a talking head video like I do, edit it down, and then give it to somebody to add in B-roll, and you'll save yourself a hell of a lot of time and headache.
Yeah, I love that. And how many editors did you have to go through before you found that kid?
I had one before, and I learned that I had to edit it down with him because I gave him a video. It was a condo video. It's like 12 minutes, and I'm like, wait, I could have cut out this and this and this and this and this and this, and this video is boring as crap. And so that's why I keep my stuff. I need that constant, peppering people with visuals.
Good. Yep. Yeah. I mean, that's kind of where I'm at right now. I've gone through 3 editors. I don't like any of them. I've paid $35 an hour. I still don't like what they're doing.
Nope.
So what I'm doing now is I'm actually making screen recordings of the types of edits that I want in my videos and putting them on a shared drive with all the assets and everything. Like, hey, I want you to watch these, copy this exact thing, use the exact same program that I'm using as well. But that's pretty.
But I've done that too, though, Malcolm. I've even done it where, like, this is the video, right? I want, like, this is the video I did in the past. I want the edits for this new video to look exactly like this. I want all the screen recordings to look like this. I want this to go like this. And then they hand it back to me. I'm like, what about this old video looks anything like this video? I want it exactly like this. Well, I don't know what you mean. It's a template. Follow the old video exactly like you need to do for the new video. And they always have excuses on why they can't do things. I'm like, they promise the world and they deliver crap. And I get so annoyed, unless I pay really, 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 really high dollar. And there's just times that I have to do that.
It's frustrating that, like, we're real estate agents and we're better video editors than a lot of professional video editors out there. I've had that realization.
Well, I wouldn't say that we're better. I just think that we know what we want, and what is in our brain is not what they have in their brain, because they have no idea what we're talking about, right?
Well, so even if you show them,
I'm a terrible editor. Like, I look at, like, I mean, Here's one thing: don't compare yourself to everybody else. But I go look at Brad's videos, Brad McCallum, and I'm like,
Well,
myself and my editor both could not shoot that. Right?
no.
I cannot do that. Brad,
He's
and
on a
plus,
different level.
yeah, but my hair, I try to get my hair sexy like his, and I can't even do it. But I mean, our editors never understand what real estate is. So that, I think that's where the gap is. So if you can get your editor to say, here's the 10 videos that I like and I want to style my videos on, watch these, and have your editor pay them, right? If it's 3 hours worth, it's worth it to pay them the extra $60 or $80 or $100 to watch these 10 videos and take notes on what I want my videos to emulate. And then boom, now let's start filming them. I think that would be way smarter and more efficient of your time, because that $100 you just spent to have them watch that content, you would have spent $500 in all the edit revisions for all of those videos.
Yeah, that's a bottleneck for my outdoor channel. I could do 2 videos, 3 videos a week if I just had somebody else could edit them for me. It's kind of something I'm really focused on at the moment.
So I have a question, Malcolm. What if you just took all of your clips and just kind of sent it to a cheap one like Video Husky that kind of took out the O's and ums and stuff like that, and then you kind of just dressed it up after that? Would that work for you?
Yeah, I've thought about doing that as well.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that are, high-end YouTubers do that. They throw it to a cheap one. They cut out all the O's and ums, and then they add their extra spice to it themselves.
What I'm really jealous is the people who have a video editor and in their local area, and they actually film them. There's a guy, he's got a camping channel, and he's got a video guy that comes and records them, and kind of this like shaky camera thing. And I'm so jealous. It looks so good. Down in Orlando, Ken Pozak, right? He's got a videographer as well who edits his videos for him as well. And
I just don't think I'm that important. I just don't give a shit. Like, I don't think it would be so weird for me to do that here.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I feel like sometimes people that need people to follow them, like the Gary Vee thing, like, I don't get that. But
right.
I can say that, like, if you're going to do a video editor where you say you have specific content you want to put out, like Ken does, like Ken is killing it. I've had Ken on my channel a few times, and that guy's amazing. In fact, Michelle's question down here, what trends and topics? Go over to Ken's channel and look at one of his newest. I'm not going to tell you what it is. I'm not going to tell you what it is because I don't want everybody to know what this trend is, because not everybody's in my market's going to do it. But go over and look at his channel. There's one he just did recently. I already have it lined up to film. I have 2 days before I go on vacation, and I've already filmed 4 videos this week. Got 2 more to film before I go on vacation. So the rest of this year, all my videos should be done.
I was talking to Ken the other day about talking head videos. He did a talking head video recently, and it did really well on his channel.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, is it? Yeah. I was talking to him about that. What's your guys' thoughts on should agents be doing talking head videos, or should they be filming kind of out in the wild? What's your view on that?
Yeah,
both. Because like, unless you're talking about if you're just talking about the housing market and the like news stories, that kinds of thing. Like, I used to try to like do them outside and inside. I found out like people do not like that. They want to hear what you have to say. They want you to keep still and talk about the facts. But if you are talking about specific types of homes and everything else, they like to see you outside. So do both.
Yeah,
do both.
I like that idea as well. I mean, I like filming in my little studio because I've got sound dampening panels. I got good lighting. I good audio here. Every time I film out in the wild, like there's airplanes flying by, there's noise and everything. It's kind of a pain in the neck. So personally, I do all my A-roll here in my studio, then all the B-roll kind of out in the wild. So we got a couple comments here. Jeremy Blayton. When I go live, I kept it just on YouTube since most of the connections on Facebook are agents across the country. Should I start going live on Facebook at the same time? So for this show, well, this show, the audience is really real estate agents. And like you said, we all have a lot of real estate agent friends on YouTube, on Facebook. So I do a lot. I shared this one on Facebook. Sometimes I like doing lives on Facebook and YouTube just because I get a lot more engagement, I think, on Facebook. What are you guys' thoughts?
I do. I've tested this. So whenever I do a live stream and I put it on Facebook and YouTube at the same time, it seems, and maybe I'm gonna have to continue to do this just to test it some more, but it always seems that like I don't get as many people in the stream like I normally would. So, but if I do it
Oh,
straight from StreamYard to only YouTube, then I get a lot more people.
Yep.
It caps out to a certain number, and it's like I can't scrape over that one number. It's like it stays right at 400. I'm like, why is it only staying at 400? Why are they capping this off at the knees? But if I just go from StreamYard straight to YouTube, then it will be like 400 to 700 people. So
Yeah.
I don't know if there's the reason behind that. Maybe I just have to test it some more. But I always think it's a good idea to get more eyeballs on it.
Yeah, I agree. I've tested it as well, and for whatever reason, when I put it on Facebook, is usually my worst live streaming
that's
day. And
interesting.
we would have phenomenal topic that day, and I'm like, well, because we'll typically when we do Real Migos, we'll be in right around 100 to 150 mark. When I was doing it with Facebook, all of a sudden I'm at like 40. I'm like, how the hell am I at 40? We just did 150 last week. Why? And this is an even better topic. So the other thing I noticed too, and this is the hardest part, is that I do mine at 7 p.m. on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday. And so usually, so that's 5 p.m. Pacific. So usually by like 7:45 is when people really start tuning in. And so we'll have like 40 or 50 people for the first 20, 30 minutes. And all of a sudden it jumps up to 100. And so now I'm like, crap, we've been in this for 45 minutes. I'm 15 more minutes and I'm out. I'm ready out this bitch. And I'm like, great. Now we go a whole nother hour because you have way more people watching. It's like, oh, now we're going to go 2 hours. We got to entertain the people.
Yeah, I always notice the first 30 minutes, it's kind of like a wave that's like more and more, you're catching more and more people the longer you go, right? And sometimes I literally stop it off at the peak where I'm like, okay, I'm done. I can't talk anymore. But if it looks like it's like I had one stream that went for like an hour and 45 minutes because I kept like it went from 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700. And then like it was like right at 800 viewers. And I said, okay, if it drops down, it starts going under like 850. That's it. I'm going to like if it goes under 800, I'm going to quit. So it stayed and maintained that number for a while. And then as soon as it started going down, I'm like, okay, we hit the peak and now it's time to go. So then I was like, I was so happy that my guest was still willing to talk. I was like, we just kept going and going and going. It was a lot of fun, but I wasn't expecting to go for an hour and 45 minutes. That wears you out, by the way. That wears you out when you talk that long. You're like, damn.
Yeah, Joe Rogan does it for like 3-4 hours somehow.
Well,
he's drinking and smoking pot.
Yeah.
That will make anybody.
Is that what we got to do to make this a little more lively?
Yeah, I think that's the key. I'll send everybody a gummy.
So one thing with Christina's live streams is that they are now like their own standalone content that go on to get tens of thousands of views, and she crushes it with them after the live stream.
Yeah.
Have you had that experience with some of your Three Amigo videos? They do pretty well?
Yeah, I mean, I would say if I do a really catchy thumbnail and title, yeah, they'll continue to go, and I'll get, an hour and 45, 2-hour video. We'll get probably like 30% watch time on it, which is crazy because that means like 40 minutes of watch. If I don't take the time to do a thumbnail and title on it, and I just leave it as a Real Migos, it'll do well. It just won't get the same legs, right? So I'd say on some of our live streams, I go back and look and I'm like 9,000 views. I'm like, what?
I love that.
So the most recent one we did last week's had like 1,200 views, and I didn't change the thumbnail, didn't do anything with it. And it was a good conversation. I just, I got tired. This week, I mean, the video we did last night is already at 700 views. So
yeah, I love that model. And I guess the real trick is you treat it just like all your other videos. You have a really clickable title and thumbnail for it as well.
My live stream from Sunday, it has 18,000 views, which blows my mind. It actually is doing better than my video I put out yesterday.
Yeah.
That's I saw that video. It wasn't very good. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. Until I get-
On that note, I do have to go.
yeah, my video this week sucked, so it was bad.
All right. Well, we can end it up. So, all right. Real quick though, I have a prediction. So I have like a formula in my head. I think that it takes almost half as long to double your numbers than it did to get there. So like Christina, it took her what, 2 years to get to 100,000, right? From when she really started hustling, she's almost already at 150,000 in like half that time. And so you're at 10,000 now. It took you about 2 years to get there. I bet you're gonna get to the next 10,000 in half that time. So probably in the next 12 months,
Yeah,
like another 10,000.
I have to start hitting some wide net topics for that to happen. So I agree. It definitely could happen. I just got to open the net a little bit wider.
Yeah.
I should have been at 200,000. I should have been, but I took a pause because of the pandemonium. My brain wasn't ready.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us did. All right. I think that's it. Jeremy, thanks so much for coming on. And
Yeah, thank you.
Got to dance your way out. We got to dance.
Bye, everybody.